In fact, tell the people what you're up to at the minute. You're writing a sitcom, aren't you?
I have written a sitcom, and it's on Channel 4 on Friday the 16th at 10:30. It's called The Fun Police.
Tell them what it's about.
Health and safety inspectors, but not bashing them.
No.
And Reeves is in it, Rhys Darby, load of other brilliant people.
Right, and you've got your fingers in a couple of pies at the minute, aren't you? You're doing something. Yes, indeed, you're doing something else because you've been in Bristol a lot.
I've been in Bristol filming another thing for the same channel, but I don't know how many times I can mention them.
Say it once more.
Channel 4. And that's very good. Well, it's a pilot at this stage, so, don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, but you're on a roll now. You're getting commissioned by Channel 4.
Yeah.
Quite a lot, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you've moved on since Russell you effectively got you the sack from the BBC.
Exactly.
I actually went to see him the other night. I told him I was doing it with his ex on the radio, and he had a little, he had a little 1,000-yard stare. Have you seen that advert? What's his name's in? The Belgian fella.
Oh yeah, you always going on about this.
What's that bloke's name? It escapes me. What's his name? Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know that bit where the little tear comes down? And he walked off like a penguin.
Oh, did Russell have a little moment?
I said, me and Matt are doing a radio show on Radio 2, live to the nation. He was kind of like, yeah, I'll come on. But he's not called back, so he's not coming on. But anyway, John, your next tune, please. I'm sorry about this, mate.
I'm marvelling at this.
This is all scripted. We've worked on this for months.
The most professional thing I've ever been involved in. What am I doing here? Introducing the next song.
What are you having for your tea tonight?
I've no idea.
Sorry?
I've no idea.
Your missus not making anything in particular?
She probably is, but she hasn't told me what it is yet.
Well, if you're listening, Kate, just put the order in now.
Let me think. I think we should get a curry in, darling.
Right, there you go. Curry, chicken biryani. Right, now it's time for the news. This is BBC.
Oh, yeah. No.
Hang on a minute.
Whoa.
What? You just said it's time for the news.
We have to do a trail.
We've got to do a trail, haven't we? A little trail. There's a trail of something. Jingle! Okay, thus proving that we are not professional people here today. Coming up in the next hour, we've got a band from Manchester called The Folks, who are outside and very relaxed, by all accounts. And you can still ask me some questions. We haven't got any questions for Matt. And we're going to be talking to, who knows? Maybe a Hollywood A-list celebrity, maybe not. But anyway, now it's time for the news. This is BBC Radio 2, online, on digital, and on 88 to 91 FM. Oh, I love the way you pointed at me then. That was brilliant.
That's called queuing. I have to cue you.
Really, Matt was pushing up faders, pointing at me. Go. Okay. Dermot always kicks off the middle hour of his show. I'm sure you know. You that listen to Dermot's show if you've not already switched off. But he's a segment called the Indie Disco, where you get to take us back to your adolescence. I'm reading this off a sheet of paper, by the way, don't think I've gone mad. The resident DJ today is David Shackleton in Whitby. Let's see what he's picked.
Well, we're meant to talk about it, aren't we?
No, I meant to play...
What about his thing? He's written a whole thing.
That's afterwards. Look on the script there. That's afterwards. Now, this chap, David Shackleton, if indeed that is his real name, has written... what would we describe it as?
A speech?
Has he written Dermot must read this out, and then
it's quite long, I think.
Yeah, he says he spelt this O-R-I-T-E. All-right, Noel. All right, Noel. The music in the 90s was superb, and there was an incredible atmosphere at the time before the millennium. There was Euro 96 and a new government, and a real air of optimism in the country when Britpop was the pride of our nation. Well, firstly, David, the new government came in 97. Okay?
And didn't you go around their house, so you'd know that?
I was actually invited...
to Downing Street
for them to say, thanks, Noel, for getting us in. Anything we can do with a little thing called a tax bill, you just give us a shout. It amounted to nothing in the end. And there was a real air of optimism in the country. Because I felt that. Round about 97, walking down Oxford Street, just going, I feel really, really optimistic.
I felt pretty happy.
You feel optimistic?
Didn't you say at the Brits?
What do you think of the future?
For Tony Blair and stuff like that. There was that sort of feeling.
I wouldn't take notice of anything I said at any of the Brits dudes. I was away with the fairies.
But it was an optimistic time. Then.
Well, it probably just felt like that the old Tory party and all that mob were coming to an end. But I don't.
It's because they kept playing D-Ream. Things can only get better, and we all got hoodwinked.
Did you vote Labour? I mean, no, can we talk about politics on radio? Can we? No, somebody's doing that thing where they go, we'd rather you didn't.
But mainly because it's boring.
Yeah. Okay.
Come
well,
on,
with that in mind, did you vote
speech.
Labour in 97? David then goes on to say, there's real optimism in the country when Britpop was the pride of our nation.
God, dark times.
Wasn't it?
That was our main export.
We put a man on top of Everest. We broke the 4-minute mile. We invented penicillin. But you know what the pride of our nation was?
Ocean colour scene.
Menswear.
Yeah.
What about menswear and Elastica? See, Concord, there's nothing on the new Menswear album, that. These tunes bring back great memories of partying all night, Thursdays to Sundays, when the afternoon was spent in the Ploughyard Beer Garden for a major hair of the dog session. I mean, come on. I would like to dedicate them to all my friends in Whitby who shared these decadent but happy times. He's not getting the word decadent in Whitby, please? I don't think so. I would like to dedicate them to all my friends in Whitby who shared these decadent but happy times with me, especially the Lawton's nightclub regulars who, like me, are now with kids and not as wild, only occasionally. Only occasionally. Little X Factor, final parties and all that, probably. But the next to signify his wild youth and his decadent past, he's picked the Stereophonics.
Friends of yours?
Kelly is a very good friend of mine. I wouldn't associate this song or any of their songs with decadence. I mean, has he never heard of Oasis?
Yeah,
you were decadent.
He hasn't chosen you at all.
I was particularly decadent. But we're going to play. You got your finger on the trigger there?
Oh, it's here.
This is Local Boy in the Photograph by the Stereophonic. The sound of David Shackleton's wild partying nights in Whitby around about the time of Euro 96. The producer came in before and said that if we mentioned politics, we have to give a balanced view here. And I obviously, we mentioned that I'd voted Labour in 97, and to balance that out, I'm going to inform the nation that, Matt, you are a screaming Tory.
Screaming Tory.
Read the Telegraph.
Oh, yeah.
And the Mail.
Yep.
Hate Russell Brand.
Oh, God. That guy.
Don't we all? Right, what's his name? David has got one more.
This is his third song.
This is his third decadent. Primal Scream is decadent. I know those guys. They can live it up. Stereophonics. Travis and Driftwood is coming up now, Matt. You see, you should have pressed it then. That would have been like been
I thought
slick.
we were going to
slick
discuss how undecadent Travis are. But did you ever meet him?
I know him well. I know Andy, and I know him well. We toured with them extensively.
Oh, really?
Good lads.
Decadent or
no?
Go to
not
bed early?
Decadent.
Ever partied with them?
Andy Dunlop. Yeah, he can stick it away a bit. Said the actress to the Bishop.
Hello.
I'm obviously talking about alcohol there. I wouldn't call them decadent. This next song is called Driftwood.
We just smashed the studio up listening to that, didn't we?
I went right decadent. I've just ordered a diamond necklace for my wife off QVC.
Let's put our tops back on and carry on.
I'm going to put my socks back on at least.
Oh.
Are you hot? You saying you were hot?
I was a little bit. No, I'm just sweaty, but I think it's just the...
You just had a coffee, haven't you?
Yeah. This isn't probably great radio, really, but if anyone's interested.
No one's interested. Apparently, go on anyway, if you've got some questions there.
Adam Gosling.
That's not even a real name.
Yes, it is. It's a baby goose. He's not a Gosling.
Adam the baby goose.
Limal's name was Christopher Hamill. Mark was Luke Skywalker. I just looked that up. I'm not as sad as Noel to actually know it. Good luck, lads. Nice having you back on air.
What was his name?
So Limal is a anagram of Hamill. So that
What's
you
an
were
anagram
right.
of Gosling?
Yeah. Slingo.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of right.
Yeah, you were. You just in your,
Listen, I'm an expert on pop music in the 80s. Ask me a question, any question.
What about pop music in the 80s?
Apart from any of the names of the members of Kajagoogoo.
Who was the guitarist in Culture Club?
Guy with blonde hair.
Oh yeah, that's the answer.
Gary. Chris.
Gary what?
Gary from Culture Club is how he was referred to. I think you'll find. Oh, his name was Chris. Or Dave. The drummer from Culture Club. The drummer from Culture Club. One of his kids was at my daughter's school.
Really?
Yeah, he accused me of vocal coaching my daughter once because she had a lead in a school play. Did you vocal coach her? It's like, Yes.
No. Did you hear her? She had the lead. Do you want some questions from listeners?
Yes.
Noel, are you aware that you looks like an owl? How does this make you feel? I don't know if you look like an owl.
Like an owl.
You're sort of wise.
I've got a bit of a big hooter.
Yeah, and the eyebrows. And the sort
Hang on a minute. Whoa. What's wrong with the eyebrows?
Whoa. Back off.
Back off.
No,
beardy boy.
there's an owl-like
I was
wisdom to you.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Who sent that in?
Oh, you're good.
Hey?
Kim. Let's just say Kim. I don't know why her name's crossed out.
Because she's probably embarrassed. Go on.
Will Noel do his Donovan impression again?
Of who? My son?
Yeah, well, no. Donovan himself, I think. Because we were talking about that the other day.
Oh, on the web chat thing. Well, it wasn't. It was not. Yeah. Well, he did. He ended up sounding like James Mason, but
so he's from Scotland. He's a 60s pop star.
I don't know whether he is. I do love him. I've got most of his records up until the kind of late early 70s.
But it started talking like that.
He did start talking like so. Then I wrote songs about seagulls and jesters and crows, and it kind of always It was a bit of a surreal evening, wasn't it?
It was quite weird.
Jimmy Page got and played on Sunshine Superman with him twice.
Yeah,
as I imagine.
He dropped his plectrum and he was scrabbling around for it. It wasn't. Didn't you remember that?
Remember that we got Kat, my we'll call her PA. She sat in there and she said, "How many of you go on this Donovan gig?" I think there's like 6 of us. She put in there about £4 worth of booze. Seriously,
really.
Do you not see the amount of booze that was in that box?
Yeah.
I had to leave. Right, when we were leaving, we'd left hundreds of bottles of beer, and the woman said, "Where are you going?" We're getting off. She said, "Well, what are you going to do with all this drink?" And we're like, well, you can have it. She said, "What about all the other stuff behind the bar?" And then put about 10 grand.
It was your stag do, wasn't it? But you didn't. You didn't want to admit it was a stag do.
Oh yeah, of course. Stag do was going to see Donovan at Royal Albert Hall.
I know. I didn't want to say anything, but
it wasn't a stag do.
And then off for mini golf.
It happened to be around the time of my wedding, and Sarah, my wife, my lovely wife, said, "Oh, you can have that," as like telling me I could have it as my stag do.
You can have that as your stag do.
Thank you. Go see Donovan.
We all got a little party bag, didn't we?
We did get a goodie bag, and what was in it? There was some finger sandwiches and some booze that Kat had overspent on. But anyway, it's another question.
Yeah. What's your favourite apps in your iPad? Because it does make me laugh that you use an iPad. I just
Why?
can't. You don't. You know.
I don't seem like an iPad.
The guy who'd be all technical and stuff. You know.
Why did you do a kung fu move there?
Well, you know.
Guy'd be all technical.
It's like a space age whiz kid.
What's my favourite app? I don't really. The app that gets used the most is when I'm trying to placate my son Donovan. Angry Birds, and it's like, get on that. That'll kind of keep him interested for.
But what do you use?
I don't.
Come on, there must be something.
The Manchester Evening News. Other regional papers are available. They're not as good or as relevant to me. I use that a lot. Apps are the ones you download. They're not the ones that come with it, are they?
No, they're
the newspapers. Yeah. I download the newspapers. I don't buy the newspapers anymore.
Right.
Download them, and this is cameras and all that kind of gear. I do like an iPad though.
Yeah.
If you're listening, anybody from Apple,
I'd like one. Other tablets are available for use,
but they're not as good.
No.
Okay.
No. What is your personal opinion about the band REM?
Yeah.
Is that it? In a sound?
Yeah. I do. Well, I like a few of the tunes. I'm not a fan, I've got to say, but I don't dislike them. Do you know what I mean? I don't dislike them, but I'm not a fan.
Half a World Away, your song, is the same title as an REM song called Half a World Away, which they called it that first. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but one can't copy a title of a song. I didn't know. Did you know that?
Oh, is that lawyer speak?
No, you can't. You can't copyright. You can't copy. No.
Well, so someone did a song called Wonderwall. They could just you couldn't do.
Well, the
anything.
Wonderwall. I nicked that off a George Harrison song. So,
I suppose.
I'll rephrase that. I didn't steal it. I allowed myself to be influenced by a George Harrison song of the same name.
So if you're from the estate of George Harrison, do get in touch.
The estate of George Harrison are very cool with me. I know his wife.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Mrs. Harrison.
Do you want to listen to a song then?
We're going to play
one of your choices.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what we're going to play. We're going to play It's a new tune by Paul Weller that's available on Tinternet. It's called Starlight, and I was down the studio when he's working on this, and it sounds very groovy.